Blog Talk Radio.
Life continues. The traffic is awful. Stocks go on trading. And Star Trek is still showing. When we return home, if we return home, we'll be the same. We'll be the same. We have to leave all this behind to dip our toes into the vast dark ocean.
Welcome, love family, to another edition of Get Your It Together here on Blog Talk Radio. I am your host, Revelation, a.k.a. and love family. It is with great adoration, love, and respect that I bring to you a show of this magnitude weekly. I am the voice or a voice of consciousness coming to you with a very humbled and loving heart on this 31st day of May 2014, where this program is dedicated to the reawakening of our spirit in truth and in love. And I just want to say welcome, love family, again for another episode Once again, thank you so very much. I can't say thank you enough for sharing in this experience and walking this path with us. So thank you so very much for taking out the time to share with us that which transcends color, age, ethnicity, culture, time, and space. Conscious awareness of the indwelling spirit transcends all matter, as we're bound by the sharing and relational understanding of how the laws of the living, consciously breathing universe governs and affects us daily. So I say thank you and welcome, as this is a moment by moment, nanosecond by nanosecond experience, if you will. This infinite, eternal source of free-flowing presence of the all that is, in all that ever was and will ever be, is present within you, as in all things that matter, because all matter matters to the universal prime creator of all creation throughout eternity. So we encourage, through inspiration and love, for that which beats our heart, as it simultaneously holds all of existence in the balance. The number to call in is 773-897-6555, as the who and what you are is being revealed, and this is Chapter 21. Chapter 21. Of course, Chapter 21. This is an ongoing saga, family. An ongoing saga. This does not end. There is no end. The who and what you are is being revealed each and every single day. But we're going to do something different today. We're going to see if we get one of our brethren from brother from another mother to call in from Denmark. We're expecting or anticipating a call from Denmark. So we'll see if we get that call, and we're going to do something very special in that we're going to share a bit of history, or a piece of history, if you will, eloquently spoken by a less, well, not less anything, but it's not as melanated. Yet, we all have melanation, but there are some of us with a little less melanation, but yet the spirit still works within them. So we're going to share some information from a less melanated brother who has shared and has a expose on some information of a bit of history from a white perspective, if you will, for lack of a better term. So we're going to do something a little different in that, in that we're going to encourage our relationship or our relational conversation between our sisters and brothers from another mother, if you will. But first, of course, there is that almighty affirmations. Our esteemed guests today, we have none, but we are anticipating a call from way over in Denmark in Europe, and we're anticipating a call for that which is to be shared, some information that will be conveyed here on the show right on the spot via, I don't know if it's going to be Skype or how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. Just know that it's going to happen. So you, the listening audience, are in for a treat. We're doing things differently. We're not your commonplace type of blog talk show, in that we don't regurgitate old news, or we don't try to sensationalize negativisms or anything like that. We speak specifically, specifically, we speak to the who and what you are, and how to help to bring about that manifestation, that realization, that understanding of what it is that we do and why we do it and how it can be enhanced and made better. And we do it with the hopes that you understand that it's all in love, and all of this is about love. It's nothing that's not about love, no matter what you see, because some of the things that we see may be very deceptive. So no matter what you see, all of this is out of love. Why? Because love has balance. And so the chaos that you may appear or think is chaos is merely the recorrecting, if you will, of the universe to bring or restore order and peace. So things appear to be chaotic, and they appear to be in such a way in an upheaval, and there has to be some dishevelment of things to recreate the balance and the harmony. So we should not get caught up in what we see and adjust or judge our mental perspectives around that one thing, because why? Time doesn't exist. Everything is fleeting. Those things will fade away. So we don't want to pass judgment on anything that's not really in the present tense. We don't want to even judge anything because it changes. Everything changes. The universe changes. The planetary influences changes. Everything, there is transitional things that's going on every second, nanosecond, if you will, as I say. So we don't want to assign a judgment to something, because why? That fixates your mind on a particular space of action, and you're reacting to something that no longer exists. So we have to concern ourselves with the movement of our spirit, and like the dust and the wind, we blow through and we're just passing through. So this is not a permanent situation. None of this is of permanence. All of this, in order for it to be eternal, has to continue to move, has to be has a rhythm and a balance, and will strike a level of as I say, rhythm, balance, and there is always love. There's this universe and all that's going on, regardless of what it looks like, is all out of love, because there's a deeper focus or a deeper sense of urgency that is relative to what this is all about that we haven't been taught. So we have to concern ourselves with that which we haven't been taught. So why? Then we turn within and bring it out and allow the Spirit to teach us by being a vessel, by opening ourselves up. Love, family, I love you, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it, as the brother George Wallace, the comedian, says. So there are no esteemed guests for today. We are anticipating a call-in from Denmark, and but we want to get to our affirmations as we start our show all the time with affirmations. As we all know, affirmations resonate on the highest level of vibratory frequency and consciousness, as we are living, breathing, and loving beings in need of affirming that which simply is. Yeah, we don't have to prove anything. All we have to do is acknowledge what is. We don't have to prove anything. All we have to do is acknowledge what is. And what is? Life. Love. Life is love. And love is what? Integrity, respect, honor. And that is a reality that is ever present, whether we acknowledge it or conscious of it or living in it or not. So simply put, affirmations produce harmony, balance, and magnetize us in alignment with the order of the infinite universe. So here it goes. And this love, family, is going to be replaced by something different for the next month, because this is the last that we'll do of this one for this month, as this is the last day of the month of May. So, I am a living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal presence of the absolute presence. Its love, light, wisdom, truth, peace, and poise are triumphant as the reality of my life. Once again, love, family, I will say that again. I am a living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal presence of the absolute presence. Its love, light, wisdom, truth, peace, and poise are triumphant as the reality of my life. Love, family, as I stated earlier, affirmations produce harmony, balance, and magnetize us in alignment with the order of the infinite universe. And so when we say I am, that means we represent that which is. Okay? I am is a representative of that which is. So you're not less, believe it or not. You're not less. You are it. You're the loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal presence of the Absolute. You represent the Absolute. Its love, its light, its wisdom, its truth, its peace, and its poise are yours to be triumphant as the reality of my, yours, our, this life. Understand that, family. That is a powerful and most eloquent clarity that is being made here. Affirmations speak to who and what you are. And again, this is chapter 21, and the number to call in is 773-897-6555. And we are here with chapter 21, speaking to the who and what you are. That's being revealed. And we do this every week. So this show was created to be a reminder, as well as I, Revelation, a.k.a. a voice of consciousness, is here to remind each and every one of you that listen to this program that we're all replications of the omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent one. Listen, that very same individual, the very same way the individual cells of your body carry your DNA structure that represents you by the trillions, well, we carry the DNA of the divine by the quadrillion or by the gazillion or however many it is. All matter carry DNA of the divine, and being is the key. Just being is the key. Understanding your being is the key. This is all we do, love family. You know, this show, we're not about to do any sensationalism news, anything of distractions, anything that's going to distract you, or have you otherwise focus on something that has nothing to do with you. That's what this show is about. This show is about focusing on you, how to resurrect you, how to recreate that understanding of what is going on, that ticking, clicking motion number that is you, that's crying out, speaking out, that's tapping you on the head, that's bumping your toe, that's shaking you up, that's vibrating within you. We are here to bring attention, or to call attention to the resonance of being in that divine flow, and to be in harmony and to balance that energy with what we are doing, saying, feeling daily. We are the DNA structure representing the divinely conscious, living and breathing, rhythmically pulsing universe. Let me say that again. We are the you, me, and all of us that represent you, me. We are the DNA structure representing the divinely conscious, living and breathing, rhythmically pulsating universe. You know, that very same all saying, experiencing all things at the same time, one source. There's only one consciousness, one conscious intelligence that permeates the universe, and it permeates all within the universe. Everything that's in the universe has this conscious intelligence. Everything that's in the universe is fed and is a conduit for this ultimate consciousness, or the universal consciousness. There's only one source, family. There's only one source. and it's through being. Therefore, we must be in harmony with the flow of that which balances all of eternity. And it has to be done with unconditional love. See, we cannot illustrate or speak enough to the fact of the matter that depending on how we feel, we decide what level of love we're going to assign to something. And reality, the reality that we live, because we represent, we're a microcosm of the one, so we have to be reflective. Like looking in the mirror, we have to reflect that which is, not that which we want to be, but that which is. So again, love family, the number to call in is 773-897-6555, as we are here out of love. Love unconditional. No other reason. There's no other reason for what we do and why we do it other than we love the Creator. We are acknowledging, we're doing our part to acknowledge the presence. And we're making sure that that acknowledgement is a reminder. Again, we are reminding you. We're here to remind. We're not here. Listen, the teachers don't really teach, but yet they do teach. So in other words, let me say it like this. When you teach, so do you learn. And when you learn, so do you teach. Everything has that yin and yang effect, that male and female, that masculine and feminine principle, if you will. Everything, every aspect of being has the masculine and feminine principles relevant to creation. Everything. So while we are holding people with degrees and people that have accomplished certain things, and nothing's wrong with giving respect to people that focus on a particular something or having done something. There's nothing wrong with respect. Respect is, again, another level of love. But we can't hold them on a pedestal as if they're doing something no one else can do, or they're doing something I wish I could do, or we should not be envious and take on the mindset that we should worship something because we don't do it. There is no need for that. We all have aspects. Every aspect that is represented in our reality is all aspects that represent what is within us. So whatever life and whatever things that you created in your life or around your reality, all those things that you visually see, that you can physically touch, they are a part of you. That which you respect so highly about the entertainment or the basketball players or the baseball players or the politician or whatever you take from them or whatever you think that they illustrate or demonstrate on the highest level of consciousness that you respect, it is inherent in you. That's how the Spirit works. The Spirit transcends all things. So everything and every aspect of all things that's ever been created, realized, or experienced is inherent within the DNA of all creation. And you are a replication of that creation, which is unconditional love. Love family, once again, it's a pleasure to bring you a profound series such as this. This series, as we take a look at the dynamics of what it takes to live in the reality of being. As we live in the reality of being, we continue to explore the dynamics of the manifestations realized with the conscious awareness that's necessary to conceptualize that energy flows where attention goes. Let me say that again. We continue to explore the dynamics of the manifestations realized with the conscious awareness that's necessary to conceptualize that energy flows where attention goes. Meaning, the more you focus on a thing, be it bad, good, bad, or indifferent in your mind, the more you bring about that good, bad, or indifferent thing. Again, the energy flows where attention goes. This is the universal makeup. This is part of the universal law of the balance that I'm speaking of, that harmonizing and the balance that has to harmonize with the flow of this thing, which is energy, which you are. You're not a part of it. That is what you are. You have a body, your body vibrates, everything vibrates, that's energy. Because it creates energy. The vibrating fact that it vibrates is what creates the energy. That it sustains the energy rather. So energy flows where attention goes. So when you focus your attention, your emotions, your attitude, your whatever on a thing with the intent, and the intention is to love it profusely, then you become encapsulated with the whole idea of what? Loving it profusely, of being just overtaken by this, consumed by it, if you will. And you manifest, create, or make to realize whatever it is for you to have manifest. You manifest it. See, that's how we're creators. We create in multiple ways. We can procreate as well as we just can create. Creatively create. With our minds, with our energy, with our intent. We are creators in every aspect of the word. So with the energy that's flowing in the direction, be it good, bad, or indifferent, we create more of the energy around that thing. And as we use our imaginations, we're shaping the actual way that it will manifest in what state or how or what level. So that's why we have to be very conscious. And how our physical bodies are actually an ocean of living, breathing, liquid, pulsing bioelectric life form that is the overall experience being revealed. See, we're in an ocean. Air and water are the same. It's just different levels of density. But they're basically the same. It's all things are relevant and relative to what? All of creation. And we are the embodiment of all of the aspects of that DNA that's divine. Everything about us is divine. Whether we think it is or not, it is. Further, how we are wired to certain propensities is an issue. However, we can reveal, or we reveal even further, this show I'm speaking of, we reveal even further how these propensities can be altered by emotions, our actions, our thoughts, etc. And in the current paradigm of thought that we carry and have been operating under, the control, the protocol supported and held in place by a belief system has held us captive and spellbound throughout the eons of time. So what this show does, we seek to break the spell by exploring this belief system of protocols, by exposing their true nature and origin. But we don't have to wait hundreds of years to change such programs that are being ran on autopilot. No, we don't have to wait hundreds of years. See, love family, you got to understand why you don't have to, but it would help. You have to understand that the spiritual embodiment that is you is the resurrected spirit of our ancestors. Now, when I say ancestors, I'm talking about the first entities on the planet, the first entities that ever was. You know, those that created the pyramids, those that did, and that's the ancestors I'm speaking of. I'm also speaking of the slavery and all of the stuff that went before that, and the Holocaust, and all those things. The spirit has been, and is an ongoing renewable source. it just further continues on through this journey and this path. And as King Tut and all of the ancients that buried themselves and mummified themselves and created these artifacts that they buried themselves with, those precious gems, jewels, gold, diamonds, rubies, all the things that they buried themselves with, they weren't trying to take it with them. All of them, those stones, if you will, have energy. And that energy has been produced and carried throughout the legacy, or carried throughout eternity. And so we're the embodiment of that which has been resurrected from the ancestors. This is what that's why we're so strong, and that's why we endure time no matter what. That is, understand that, love family. Understand that. See, we speak to the realities and the truths of the spiritual nature of a thing, not just the thing that you see perceptually. Because what you see perceptually, it can be an illusion, and it's not necessarily really there. It's transparent. We can, with that's going to pass away. But the reality and the truth of the Almighty is always is. So that's what we want to lock into. That's what we want to assign our feelings, emotions, and focus our love, unconditional love on. In the current paradigm of thought, again, I'll repeat, that we carry and have been operating under, the control of protocols supported and held in place by a belief system has held us captive. It has held us captive and spellbound throughout the eons of time. We seek to break the spell by exploring this belief system or protocols, by exposing their true nature and origin, but we don't have to wait hundreds of years to change such programs that are being ran on autopilot. See, again, let me repeat. The ancestors, you are the ancestors. Our spirit that embodies us is the same spiritual embodiment of those magnanimous, dynamic, and very courageous individuals that circumnavigated the globe, that created the first civilizations, that did all of the magnificent things of wonder that our world has come to know in creation. You are the embodiment of that spirit, of those spirits. And because everything is infused by the conscious awareness of the Almighty, or the conscious awareness of all that is, and the universal consciousness is feeding all of the universe this intelligence. So the spirit is a renewable source. They talk about renewable sources of energy. Well, you're a renewable source of energy. And the energy that permeates and emanates from you is the spirit, which is the embodiment of, you're the embodiment of our ancestors. So you are your ancestors. Who's ever told you that? But that's a fact. Everything is one. Remember that. We are all one. And everything is a replication of the one. So since that's a fact, then you are your ancestor. You know, understand that. They have, the society that we live in, have us separating black and white and orange. Everything came from the darkness. All things came to be from the darkness into the light. The system works in such that it has to come from the darkness, germinate, grow into, and be drawing up and out by the light. Everything. You think about what the life path of a seed, and we all, what? We're seeds of consciousness, we're seeds of reality, we are seeds of eternity. You name it, we're the seeds of that which is. And so we started in the darkness, and we're coming into the light now. Love family, this is a daunting but very exhilarating aspect of where we are and what's going on with us. And it's not over by a long shot. It's going to present some challenges, absolutely. But it's this level of commitment through an unyielding dedication to the complete awareness in the spirit of self, which is a clear and resolute indication that we're all replications of the omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent one. You know, I keep repeating this because this is a reality of truth that I live, that we all live, whether we're conscious of it or not. That very same all-seeing, experiencing all things at the same time one. And it's through being, I need more money, not through I got to have more stuff, not through if I get a job, not through I need a car. It's through being conscious. See, we're acknowledging the presence by acknowledging the presence. See, we're doing in this moment, we're being and doing what we are. We're acknowledging the presence. We're doing what is present. We have to be that which we are. We have to manifest and reflect that which we are. Love family, this is a loving and wholesome undertaking. It has its challenges but the challenges is to have the experience so that we will grow with and through. Remember, energy flows where attention goes. Again, flows where attention goes. If you're thinking negative, vile, disruptive, anger type thoughts, that's where your attention is, that's what you're going to create. That is what the nature of the universe, how the balance is. The universe is constantly, always seeking to balance itself, and inside and out. So we're constantly seeking balance inside and out. However, one has to get back to those dynamics to reacquaint oneself with the universal law of harmony and balance. Plain and simple. We must cast aside, once again, the European image and all its concepts, theories, and dogma, mythology, etc., relating to the essence of what we know, reclaiming the original consciousness of universal law. So let's reclaim right now the understanding that you are your ancestors. Since we all are one, since there's only one energy source, since that one energy source is permeating all that is and all that has been and all that ever will be, then that is the only source that is the creator, multiple. Now, we are representatives of that creator. And we're what? Endowed with the attributes of the creators. And how do we do it? Through our spirit. The spirit animates. Now, there's only one spirit that is a conscious awareness of the cosmic, which is being fed, and we're just conduits to it. So then that means we are our ancestors. We are one another. That which you hold in your heart against me, you really hold against yourself. See, we have to understand that in order to balance our internal, in order for the universe internally to balance, there's a balance externally, internally, that there has to be a balance at both sides. You can't have these thoughts emanate from you, speak them, and put it out in the universe, and then not be representative of what is in you. So, we are our ancestors. Who's ever told you that? Who's ever said it and then back it up with the fact that there's only one source, and we are replications of that one source, and that one source is a renewable energy and is using all of creation to allow its energy to flow through and be renewed by. So this is a conscious awareness of that emanating source or energy, if you will, which is spirit, that has transcended time. So we are the embodiment of our ancestors past. We are the present. We represent in this presence that which was, is, and will always be. So there's never going to be a time that we won't be in this time, in a time. There will never be a time where we won't be in time, because there is no time. All time is the same. Past, present, and future is all contained in this very moment of existence in this here and now. And the embodiment of your spirit is in the past, present, and the future. So the reality is that which we worship of our past, we are the representative of it now in this present, which would be the future for that past. We are. This is. We have to start wrapping our minds around the larger aspect, the universality of it all, not limited to the trying to separate and compartmentalize, because that's not the reality and the truth. That's not the reality and the truth. We must embrace our truest self. Right thought begets right action, not the perceptual concepts of European thought, which aren't. See, the way they think is separate. Well, this is over here and that's over there, so they can't be the same. They can't come together. They're not connected in no kind of way. They're incorrect. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. Inanimate objects as well as animate objects. Everything has a connection through the Creator. All things are connected through all of creation. So there's nothing that's disjointed. There might be various experiences. Your experience is different from mine, but the lessons are the same. Growth in love, unconditional. So now, how do one separate the Creator's love from all of His creation? Unless it be by deception, deceit, lies, misperception, by misrepresentation of the truth, a magnificent hoax, if you will. And it can only be done by distorting one's idea or permeating the imagination, changing the idea what the deity is. You have to mess with those fundamental internal consciousness of the being in order to manipulate and otherwise sway them into believing something or thinking something other than, which is why the imagination has to be captured. See, your imagination has to be captured. You think about physically capturing somebody and making them your slave, but the imagination had to be, it was a thorough job. You physically captured, and then you psychologically and emotionally and ecologically capture the imagination, distorting one's idea of who and what they are. We got to come out of that. It's time to come out of that. It's time to come out of that. There's no way that there's any way other than to focus on spiritual understanding and growth within the self. We are in a state of mental disarray through captivated motions of the mind via our own imaginations. So who's in charge of your imagination? You are. Who has the right to go in and make the changes? You do. But it has to be through determination. It has to be, you have to ask for it. You have to sincerely reach inside and willfully, intentionally want it. Let's let that marinate just a little bit. Unless emotionally captivated and distracted in so many ways away from what is inherently true, Why else would we believe that a system created to destroy by domination seek to add or give substance to anyone or anything that doesn't exhaust its model of wretchedness, of lewdness, of a lack of? There's no understanding that we have, or there's no way that we challenge the understanding of this model that someone wants to dominate the world. But how do they add the world and its creation? What, by giving it technology? By sucking the whole planet dry of all the resources, trying to. And it's amazing that this planet has not been depleted of its resources, which tells you everything is regenerative. Because you think of all of the years in time, over time, and all through time, that the planet itself has been being supposedly being depleted of its minerals and its oils and the riches, and yet there's still plenty. So that tells you that this is enough to go around probably 10,000 times over, because throughout all the hundreds of years, all of the oil that's been sucked out of the planet, and all of the diamonds that's been used in the planet and mined, and all of the oil and barium and all of the different resources that we've sucked from this planet, and yet it still has more to give. Amazing. This is amazing, and we represent this amazement. The challenge that we face with a daunting undertaking, which is what this show does, is we force the questions. We force you to ask some questions or present that which shakes the very foundation by which many of the traditional lies and fantastic woven webs of generational deceit have been allowed to exist through. We question. There's nothing wrong with analytical thought. There's nothing wrong with analyzing and questioning some belief. If you have a belief in something, what's wrong with asking questions about what it is you believe in to get to the root of why you believe it? Why don't you ask the question, well, why do I believe this? How come this is just an automatic feeling or thought or presence in my mind? And you can ask the spirit within you to reveal it, and the universe will open up and provide you answers. This is what we're not doing enough of. And that would be through meditation, through yoga, through just sitting in silence and just being quiet for a minute or two, paying attention to your breathing, just thinking about the fact that you have breath and how that breath may be in harmony with the ticking or the motion of the universe, the vibrational beat of the universe, the vibrational beat of the universe itself. We have to understand, love family. We don't have to understand, but it would help. We don't have to do anything, but it would help if we were intentfully, willfully interested in wanting to absorb the truth of what the universal order of things is, and that is unconditional love. And how does that permeate other than through balance, other than through harmony? And so all of the things that is created to extract balance and harmony is that which is what? Balance and harmony. You have to be that which you're seeking to have in your life. You have to be it. So that is what it's all about. You know, yes, it's challenging. Yes, and where else would the resurrection be but in you? You have to resurrect it. Your being has to resurrect. This show presents a template in the fundamental structure and the building block to the full awareness of self, which is love unconditional. But we like to think that we present a template to that awareness and that consciousness of how to do. You know, please hear me clearly and let me be very coherent about this. But there's nothing but love for the Creator with all of His creation. I'll repeat that. There's nothing but love for the Creator with all of His creation. There's nothing but love. We can call it what we want to, but it's still levels of love. There's nothing less or greater in creation as the universal consciousness that doesn't measure emotional states or assign pre-programmed feelings of judgment. These are man-made creations designed to control, manipulate, and otherwise coerce a response that will ultimately steer one away from any logical or rational solution and or resolution. Now, I repeat myself and I say things over and over because it needs to marinate. We can't hear this stuff and it just fly by and go past you. We have to repeat it so that you can start to say, The more you hear something, the more it may sink in. And these things that we are repeating, I've been inspired, and through spiritual discernment, is saying they're necessary to repeat. Love family, since we have so much respect for the Almighty Presence in every being, as we are our ancient ancestors inherently living in this current reality of being, thereby possessing the same divine DNA bestowed upon all cosmic intelligence of the universe. We are it. We are the divine DNA that's manifest as our ancestors, animated by our ancestors and the spirit of our ancestors. So that makes us what? Our ancestors. We are it. We are the embodiment of that which is, and that which is permeates through all. That is the reality of truth. Now, whether you've heard it before, whether you want to believe it or don't want to believe it, it doesn't matter. But the truth is what it is. It is for this very reason we respect all of the presence in every manner of being, because all matter represents the divine source of all creation. Understand that, love family. Understand that wholeheartedly. So we dedicate and commit with all of our heart, mind, and spirit to producing the type of show every week that's consistent with a determined passion that raises awareness in the here and now, praising the boundless, endless possibilities of infinite energy in this reality that is you. We're here to affirm and make manifest in this now moment of existence that we're activated seeds of pure consciousness, animated by the divine spirit of the all there is. Not some of what is, but all that is, ever was, and will ever be. We're connected to it. As a matter of fact, we are it. See, I understand that you're not hearing that. Nobody's telling you that. You don't, everybody's want to shy away and run from that, but that's a fact. That's the reality of being. Being reflects all that is. So we're beings reflecting that which is. We're replications of the one through all that is. See, I put this show is dedicated to just focusing on that. I'm not focusing on who shot John and what happened last year and this and that and woe is me and no school and work and jobs and no money. No, we have to go to the source, and the source of all says there's no shortage of nothing. The source that we are is saying and is all that is. So all we have to do is connect or reconnect consciously, because we never lose connection, by the way. You're never lost. You're never without it. But we have to consciously resurrect that awareness of our connection to it, because we are it. We are here by that presence, transmuted as love unconditional through eternal inspiration, remaining diligent, dedicated, and determined as it is our duty to resurrect our soul's memory, to live in the paradigm of unconditional love that carries the complete conscious awareness of self. That is our duty here at Get Your It Together. I, Revelation, a.k.a. this, a voice of consciousness, if you will, is my duty to maintain, willfully and intentionally confess to you that we are that which we've been worshiping. We are that which we have felt like we've missed, and so wish we had some connection to it. Well, we do, because we're it. There's no other way to look at it. We are it. Not only are we connected to it, we are it. Whatever you think that is, we're it. How do you resurrect that awareness, that level of consciousness? How do you touch it? How do you make it manifest? Well, first, acknowledge. The first thing is to acknowledge the presence that is. And how do you do that? Well, you give thanks. You give thanks. You're here. You're here, breathing, living. Well, I don't have that. Well, you don't focus on what you don't have or what you think you don't have, because it's all perceptual. It's your aspect of your mind saying, oh, based on this thing over here, comparatory study, I don't have that. But what about what you do have? You have the resources and tools to get or make manifest anything that you desire. Anything. With enough emotional fortitude and enough emotional energy, you can create, manifest out of the thin air anything you desire. Whatever it is. Car, job, money, whatever. Food, housing. If those are the only things you're concerned about, they can be easily had. But what about embracing and the embodiment of the whole, of all that you are? What about all that you are? How about grasping and making manifest all that you are? That is the challenge, to be able to embrace all of you, to say, I want to wear it like armor. I want to put it on like my skin. That's the power that you walk around with. The energy that's contained within you is very powerful. And we have to only but acknowledge the presence of it. That's all we got to do. We don't have to do a whole lot of anything other than give praise and acknowledge the presence of that which is. Constantly focus on allowing it to show, share, and disseminate through you. You're a conduit for it. That's all you have to do. Listen, you can't be casual about this undertaking at all. Let me say that again. You can't be casual about this undertaking. There must be this consistency over time. That's why we do this show. Rain or shine, this show comes on Saturday. You can depend on it, whether I advertise or do the promos or not. There's going to be a show on Saturday. I can't. It's hard for me to not do it now. It has to happen. Why? Because the spirit. This is a spiritual thing. I didn't. It came to me in spirit. I didn't just. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. No. This is saying, hey, this is the platform. This is the voice. This is what has to be. You're going to do it, so do it. Here it is done. And now I can't stop doing it. I'm thinking about vacation. I'm going to take a little hiatus, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not happening. It's just not happening. So there must be a consistency over time, in and throughout time, never ceasing or yielding and forever prevailing. Because that's how infinity works. The infinitum of the reality of the universal order of things is ongoing, never ceasing, always happening. This maintains the balance of our created reality with our prevailing immortality. Immortality is endless. Immortal is what? Beyond mortality. Let me remind you that all matter has energy. So that means all things are tangible. We can touch, feel, see, taste, hear. depending on all levels or what levels, everything. We are pure energy housed in a shell through varied expressions of that which has replicated itself in and in every form imaginable, with the infusing of spirit to give the character, to give it its flavor, if you will. You know, spirit gives you flavor. You know, the fact that you have a spiritual nature and you're just not a body gives you flavor. And your experiences add the spice. The things that you experience and the challenges that you get is what spices up the life that you live. And that's all the time. It's never going to stop. That's never going to stop. What has to happen, though, is we have to grow in understanding the level of palatable taste for these experiences and the spice, you know, the taste, how it tastes, and what's palatable, and how to understand what it is doing for us. You know, we, again, pure energy, that which permeates all, is forever unfolding in infinite ways, infinitely to all. Let me say that again. That which permeates all, which all that is permeates all, is forever unfolding in infinite ways, infinitely to all. So its always presence has to be acknowledged all the time. In order for us to remain cognizant, conscious, and clear about the intelligence that is fusing and fueling us, spiritually and otherwise, we have to remain diligently, consciously cognizant of that presence. You know, see, don't ask me where it began, because there's no beginning. And when they try to say, oh, the Big Bang, no. What is, all that is, just is. There is no, it doesn't matter what you think was the beginning. Just know that it is. You know, and well, why is it that so important? Why is that so important to the grand dynamics of existence, you may ask? It's not. That's a distraction. There's always these conversations to try to distract us from just being. You know, the universe doesn't struggle with the concepts of its absolute law, its absolute love, its absolute light. Man, in his infinite wisdom, or in his levels of growth and evolution, is struggling to understand it. So for those that don't know themselves, you know, it's about being aligned with conscious intelligence and resonating with the truth of existence. The universal law of truth, not the man-made manipulations and conjecture. So we've been force-fed, spoon-fed, force-feeding on something that's only limiting at best. So we have to embrace the fullness of that which we are. Well, family, I'm loving you. I'm loving this. I appreciate you being there. I would love for you to have some questions or share some dialogue, or even your own experiences would be great. So that number, if you will, is 773-897-6555. This show is called Get Your It Together. I am your host, Revelation, a.k.a. a voice of consciousness in the wilderness, if you will, here sharing by virtue of the presence of the Almighty that is. And I just want to share this with you, and we will do a Ponder the Poetry piece in a bit. This will be the last episode for the Ponder the Poetry. But right now, I want to do my signature piece, which is For All We know.
a dream. The whims and wishes being carried out doing the bidding of spiritual things. Time and space are no longer individual, but one in a ritualistic dance uniting matter with the eternal. For all we know, life in itself is the lesson learned. Role-playing daily on a universal stage, acting out reality where everybody gets a turn. For all we know, for all we know, for all we know. This ain't nothing but a dream. Energizing focus, creating forms of formless matter, molding and shaping desires that manifest material things. For all we know. Crisp and clear are the sounds and colors, piercing the midnight air, morning breeze, or noonday sun. Electrically charged thoughts set off infinite vibrations, touching and freeing everything and everyone. For all we know, for all, life is truly a dream. For all whirling vortexes of happiness, glad, mean, or rude, determined by perceptions, imagination, for all, or just having the wrong or right attitude. For all we know. Up is down and in is out. The transposition of educated confusion only conveys the presence of unending doubt. Spiritual essence is relevant to all of reality, governed by a doctrine of standards and morals that are of the highest and divine degrees. For all we know, this is definitely a dream. The whims and wishes are being carried out doing the bidding for spiritual things. Syncopated rhythms pulsate transcendent air, riding cosmic waves of energy that will unite anyone who would dare to stay the course of courage with humble aggression, where meek is never ever mild, and passive isn't concession or acquiescence.
Yeah. For all we know. I play that on a regular. It is our signature piece to this show. Why? Because it speaks to the who and what you are. And it's forever revealing in the various stanzas that's within the frame and the framework of that poem. It is revealing a lot. And if we just listen to the words, think about what those words are saying, as well as use that imagination of ours, which helps to understand things with clarity. All right, now we are still anticipating John to call from the Netherlands. We're going to share some. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this piece that John Welliker has done. He's on YouTube. He has some things going on, and this Caucasian brother, if you will, is from the Netherlands. Now, John has praised our show and says the show has touched him, and he felt inclusive. Why? He felt the show is inclusive. Why? Because we speak to all. This is not a white or black thing. This is not a color thing. What we speak of transcends those things. So we're not here to distract you with, oh, I'm better, or we're better than them, or somebody else. No, this is about all of us. So this piece that John has done, that I'm about to share with you, is definitely something that needs to be shared, number one, and it is called Message from Behind the Glaciers, and it speaks to the reality that is shared universally, but this is coming from a white man. Check this out about creation and how things got started and their perception of what's going on. So to let you know that we all know the truth, we just don't all function in the reality of it. But check this out. Just having a little technical difficulty here. trying to get Message from Behind the Glaciers to play. And let's see if we can get it to play. Here we go.
This is the story of those who migrated from the motherlands into the north, into Europe, thousands of years ago before the Ice Age. Who went to Europe? What did they do there? Who did they encounter? What calamities did befall them? And how did it change them? This is Messages from Behind the Glaciers. In this program, we will take you deep into the ancestral story of the Caucasoid. From a 6-meter perspective, we will show the hidden bond that connects us over oceans. We will delve into the reasons for his anger towards and his fear of the melanated peoples of the world. What went wrong? How could it happen that one people became so bitter that they destroyed and disseminated melanated civilization all over the world? The information that you are about to be presented with is controversial, yet it is my deep belief that it will benefit the healing of old wounds, bridge the gap between a separated humanity. To understand our present, we must understand the whole story. Your story, and my story, their story, and our story. My name is Dixie, and I will be your host. Messages from Behind the Glaciers. Let us begin by stating, we came from Kemet. We were black, and we remember. From the far reaches of space and the pyramids of Atlantis, the Tower of Lemuria, a rule of the dominions of the Maxons, when the earth was still called the moon, long before any separation, long before the differences in their DNA density, before our life in the caves of the Caucasus Mountains. We, a nation of ancestors encoded in your DNA, remember. We have Kemet, eons of your years ago, in search of new lands, with the intention to expand our civilization, to extend our reach, cultivate the lands, build in the north. We traveled over sea and land, settled in what you now call Greece, where we started building a civilization of knowledge based on the highest metaphysical principles. Soon, we populated the whole of the Mediterranean, Europe and the Middle East. We went further north, into the heartland of Europe. We built temples and great pyramids, who are now buried under the mountains. A thriving society with a booming trade, universities, hospitals, a spiritual society, a people who were in touch with the inner workings of the spirit and the outer worldly manifestations of the flesh. They were still in communication with the gods. They still heard the voices of their ancestors. They were able to access the DNA ancestral memory without any effort, with the same ease as we would reach out a hand. They lived with the lives and memories and knowledge on a conscious level. So what is happening in this moment is that many of us here in the flesh, alive now during these times of change, are discovering the true scope of our multidimensional existence in relation to our space-time frame. We find ourselves in bodies which seem to contain ancient and coded information coming from the inside of our beings, churning out, pouring out flashes of memories, recurring dreams of times and places we had never been before in this life, premonitions, unexplainable emotions. Do you sometimes meet people which seem so familiar that it almost seems as though they are not strangers at all? Our ancestors are reaching out from within as we reconnect to the mothership. They are transmitting. We are being reactivated. The sky is just right. The time is now. It is happening. So, it came to be that we populated Europe, a great empire. Times do change though, and while living our lives, we suddenly found the Ice Age encroaching on us. The changes were at first gradually, but in time, before we knew it, we found ourselves trapped behind masses of ice and glaciers. A wall coming from the north, a wall coming from the south, and a wall coming from the east, encapsulating us with no way to reach behind the glaciers. There it is where we lost all contact with the homelands. The calamity came over us swiftly. Some made it back, but many were left behind the glacial walls. It was difficult to keep a level of civilization against the forces of nature. The cold came so fast in some places that it froze over cities with the people inside of them, and the ice grinded everything to dust. We tried to rebuild, survive, generate safety and heat for our women and children. The conditions, unbearable as they were to the lives of many, we tried to build structures like the great stone circles with our last energy in the hope of contacting anyone who might be able to alleviate the suffering. Yet, even though the harsh environments, we survived in small settlements. But we were not alone. There were others there in the north and in the mountains. We knew about them from before, but never engaged in a prolonged communication. They seemed like savages to us. But now, through our new difficult circumstances, our encounters with them increased. It could be said that there was an alliance, fragile and with many barriers. Who were these humanoids in the north? How did they get there? We remember because we became them.
Okay, all right. So, love family, that's the messages from behind the glaciers. Kind of like a little spoken word, but it told a story, and I hope it came through clear enough for you to get the essence of what it spoke to. This is a European perspective, if you will, on what appeared the beginning of when the Caucasian came out of the Caucasoid Mountains, and how they came to be separated from all of civilization, which was melanated, and through their exposure to a certain climate and mountainous regions and being engulfed, they changed. Let's see if there's more here. I think there's a chapter 3.
Others there in the north, they remember the birth of the first woman by the gods, who grafted them in their image. We remember how we grafted ourselves by a scientist or a group of geneticists known to you as GYIT, by splicing and selective procreation in a 6,000-year period. Wombs were made who birthed us, men and women. The gods lived among us, and we served them for a long period as workers and warrior class, in a balance which was upset. There was an uprising, and as a punishment, from us was grafted the swine, which became our food as a curse for our rebellion against the gods. This was long before the Ice Age, when the earth was new, Atlantis had not sunk, and Lemuria had not been ravaged. During the calamities of the flood, the gods put down their project and left us. We lived our lives in Europe, hidden in the north and the mountains, lost our connection. We knew about the existence of great people south from the stories told by our great mothers, people descendants of the gods. Our next contact was when they returned to us from Canada, and we found them left in the harsh environments behind the glacial walls, where we had had our home for thousands of years in the caves and on the mammoth plains. Your civilization flourished. With the cataclysm of the cold climate change, they and we had become interdependent. A merging took place of those survivors and those indigenous. We became one, and we took our refuge for the ice in the north and the caves of the Caucasus Mountains. And one day, in a slow process, the glaciers melted. The first we encountered was Canaan, the son of Ham, cursed with leprosy. The albinos who fled the homelands came amongst us in the caves, taught us ourselves cleanliness. We developed. The melting of the glaciers had taken many generations. We had changed physically in such a way, changed mentally and spiritually. We found ourselves in the caves with animals, laying with the wolves, consuming the flesh of our own dead brothers, in utter darkness, hidden under the ground, while in the rest of the world, melanated civilizations flourished. We forgot everything. With the arrival of Canaan and his people, contact and our knowledge of the homelands was reactivated. We came out of the caves, building, evolving. The urge arose to expand, to search, to explore. Canaan had told us about a people from which he fled. We started our move towards Kemet, and when we finally met those of which we descended, we could not recognize and they could not recognize. We could not see when we saw each other, two branches of the same tree in a reuniting of long-lost siblings, separated for thousands of years. Recognizing, we did not. We had changed, lost all knowledge of our past, and in Kemet, no one had seen anyone from Europe for eons. Both groups did not recognize each other as human beings. The consequences have been recorded in history and our DNA code. Traumatic consequences, which tore great wounds, left scars in our souls as a human family, which have yet to be healed fully. And even though healing is taking place, the memories of our screaming ancestors have to be honored. The stories must be told, piece by piece, rediscovered, reactivated, and remembered.
Wow, love family, that was a powerful rendition of some European history. Here's a brother in Denmark that's conscious of the beginning of how it all transpired, or a encoding, if you will, the encoding of the DNA and understanding of absolute being forgetful. And so let's go ahead and have John, I believe he's on the line. John, you're going to have to push 1 in order for me to be able to bring you on. I believe, John, we just played his piece, and we need him to actually push 1 so that we can get him on the air. John Welliker, is that you, my buddy, my friend, my brother?
Good day. Good day, King James. Good day. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Man, that's a powerful piece you did. It's amazing that you speak exactly to the reality of truth that came about and the way it manifests, where you say the melanated people had flourished, and those, that hid themselves in the caves, we didn't recognize each other, but we all come from the same land. We all come from the same essence, if you will. So speak to me, John, on what inspired that.
Well, what did inspire us? I can talk about dreams or impressions which I had, but maybe I should talk about the affirmations that came along my path in my search for certain knowledge. When I came into text of the Nation of Islam, about the story of Yaqub, the story of Yaqub, it reminded me, or it reactivated some kind of recognition of a story of the world. It is, for me, hard to trace back how exactly the process went, because this material is already somewhat years old. Yet, I would like to speak more on it if there are more questions, but I do not know if I can answer them all.
Well, John, we're not going to focus on the questions. We just want you. We just want you to express yourself. So go right ahead.
All right. I will then. Well, I feel that what is very important, that we do believe that we are all descended from the original man, and that the original man is within all people.
That's right.
Women and men alike. So it is important, I think, to recognize this. And so I set out to find what there is to hear about it. And I sent out this message, the message from behind the glaciers, here from Europe. And I hoped it would reach someone someday. And today, finally, I hear it now on the radio, and I'm excited.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think it's a great piece, man. It's a great piece. It's a fantastically piece of truth, and it's woven with the delicate consciousness that's needed to share to share the knowledge, because that's knowledge. You're speaking to something that happened. You're speaking to the genetics of a reality that happened in a time gone by. So you're speaking some history there, my friend.
I'm thankful that we are connecting in this moment, and I just want to say this. I don't know what to say. I came into the house. I came into the house, and I put the radio on, the Blog Talk radio. I noticed the time. It was around 4:11 here in Europe, and I thought, I have to call in. I was a little bit hasty, coming from outside, and so when I tuned in to your show, the work was already playing, and as such I was quite surprised, and I thought, I have to call in, and so now I'm calling on my mobile phone. Here in Europe, and it's sunny, and it's a beautiful day, and so the affirmation that comes through here, and the energy which is manifesting, also since that I've tuned in to your radio show, get your it together. I have been trying to get my it together, and I'm very happy with the contact.
Well, we're happy to have you, John. I really appreciate your support and your emails, and you submitting poetic works and the whole 9 yards. This is Revelation, a.k.a. A Voice of Consciousness, and we're speaking with John Williker, and John is called in all the way from, he's in Denmark. He's in the Netherlands, and John has shared a very powerful piece. And John, we're going to run that piece again and again, because it is speaking to some very important aspects of the fact of how we're all connected. How it talks about how we're all connected. The color has nothing to do with it. Those color lines are distractions of perceptual separation. It's not real. It's not true. And so the number to call in if you have a question or you want to share a statement or what have you is 773-897-6555. And this is Get Your It Together. You can also send comments or questions or write to us at GYIT@KingJames.com. That's GYIT at KYNGJYMES.com. John, tell us some of what is your inspiration besides the Yaqub and besides the Muslim realities that you've experienced? What are some of the other inspiration that has found you to become so cosmically conscious in this now time?
I remember when I was living in another place, and it was at night, and I found words, a speech. It was called Melanin, the Matrix, and Mind Control by Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine. And I heard the first time, it was then that I heard of the concept of melanin and what melanin what are the attributes of melanin. And not only the melanin of the skin, but the melanin of the brain, pineal glands. And someone made me realize that, so if I'm able to understand this speech which I'm hearing right now, and if I'm able to communicate and deeply feel it, then I thought this melanin story, there has to be something about it. And before that, before I found this kind of information, I was basically very much into all kinds of religions. And I came into Islam at one point.
Okay.
And, read the scriptures, Christian and Muslim, Hindu scriptures. But the thing which is the most, where it all started, was in a moment when I was 19. I was 19, and it's just very weird happening to me. But I wasn't taken by spaceships or anything like that, but it was more an inner journey. An inner journey.
Okay.
So I was quite young. It was quite confusing, this experience, which I have laid out in other stories that I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something happened with it. Maybe they say something sometimes that a person is touched by something. They call it the spirit, or the kundalini, or the dragon, or I don't know what they all call it. But they kind of started very young, or as a teenager, or at the end of my teen years. That was a starting point. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You're basically saying that you were inspired by some various readings and some teachings of different things, religion, and it sparked, it sparked your consciousness, or it sparked your spirit to start searching, which is great. Yeah. I mean, that's how it works for everybody. But what I'm fascinated by is that you've, on your journey, on your search, you've allowed this energy to feed you these things that you write about. So now, tell me about that process of your writing stuff like Behind the Glaciers. To write something like that, what happened?
Well, if I could say symbolically, the apple fell from the tree. The apple fell from the tree, but when I am in meditation, I write. So I wait till I hear, or not hear something, or something from within. The words just flow. It's a flow, flowing. Like the water out of a fountain. So maybe going down a mountain. So it's in moments of deep meditation, or I just take my time and I start writing.
So the inspiration flows through you.
School could say that. I would say reactivation, or I do not want to say that I'm Well, I'm not sure. Flows through me. Energy flows through me. So. Okay, but I don't know. How long is the show today?
Well, don't worry about the length of the show. We'll keep you on track. The show will go for probably another 15, maybe close to 20 minutes. But I would like for you to share where you're from and give us some of the projects that you're working on, or some of the things that you're doing over in the Netherlands. You're in Europe. So what's going on over there with what you're doing? Let's get some of that going, because you have a lot of YouTube stuff going on. I can see some YouTube things. So give us some of the information on what you're doing and where you are and how you're going about it.
Okay, so there's the main station is called the UAO, the UA Omroep. It is there's many different topics on there. It's a channel, www.youtube.com/UAOMROEP. That is the more that is one of the stations, and the other station is called the UAOM, and that's music. So there's a part music, and there's a part speech, and a part documentary, and a part sketches or videos with people acting maybe sometimes. There's also interviews, a lot of interviews. Music. We play live here and sometimes in a cafe or at a other event. We speak to people. So I perform these poetry. I speak to people.
Okay.
Perform and not perform. I wouldn't say perform because it's not a role that I play. So there's a few websites. Maybe I should name them. I could name them.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the main station is UA Omroep or UBN. It's on YouTube, www.youtube.com/UAOMROEP, and there's as well a Tumblr with new material, which is more from a different kind, more about another journey, and that is the Tumblr on UAOHM. It's uaomposts.tumblr.com. That's the other station, or I like to talk in bases or places or interstellar crafts which move around through cyberspace. Maybe I could send the links to you on nice. Would it be adequate to? I say I have said the words, but I do not know if I'm clearly to understand, because the accent maybe.
Yeah, no, you can send me the link. You have my email address and my contact information. So, sure, send a link or Skype information to me. However you want to do it, John. That's fine. That's fine. That's great.
Well, I welcome everyone to take a look at what I have in my stations. Yes, I would like to invite everyone who's listening, and I wish also the best to everyone who's listening, and all good things or good energy for everyone. I hope, because I realize now in this moment that people are listening, and it has been a little bit hasty lately, but in my life, and I'm happy that you have me as a guest. So maybe I stop rambling for a moment here. And, listen.
No, John, you're doing fine. But listen, we are going to get back into the show. It's been great having you on. I'm loving what you're doing. Keep up the work. The message from the Glaciers, again, with your permission, I will play it again. I'm going to ask that you come on the show and do that piece, message from the Glaciers, without the music, without the interlude of the music, because I want us to focus and hear more of the words. I'm not sure of how clear it came through. I'm hoping it came through clear enough, but I'd want you to come back and do the message from the Glaciers, parts 1, 2, and 3. I believe it's 3 parts. I want you to come back and do that without the music, and so we can hear the words, because you tell a very powerful story, and it's one of a piece, a snippet of our history of mankind, not just a white or black thing. It's not about that. It's about being, about the creation, and how creation had these different attributes that spawned, as you say, branches of the same tree kind of thing. So I want you to come back and do that. So we'll talk, and we'll set up a time where you can actually come back and present messages from behind the Glaciers without the music. So you be okay with doing that?
Yes, I will be coming back, and I will do that. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for this I would say lesson from you. I feel I have gained some knowledge and insights. Thank you.
Well, you're quite welcome, and it's our pleasure. And we've gained some knowledge and some insight as well from your presence and the sharing of this powerful piece, John. So I'm just going to say peace to you. I'm going to do a Ponder the Poetry piece, and then we're going to wrap the show up. But thanks again, and we will be in touch for sure. You know that. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, my friend?
Thank you. Peace to you as well, and to the viewers.
All right.
And, yes.
Listeners, for sure. Okay. John Welliker is from the Netherlands, all the way in Denmark, calls in. He shared the piece, message from behind the Glaciers, very powerful piece. And we are about to do what? We're going to ponder some poetry as well. But I just want to remind you that you're listening to Revelation AKA, and the name of this show is Get Your It Together, and the number to call in is 773-897-6555, or you can email the comments or share your questions, or just have something that you want to share at GYIT at KingJames.com. That's GYIT at KYNGJAYMES.com. We also have a Twitter feed, and it's at Revelation 99999. That's 5 9s. It's at Revelation 99999. Or you can catch us on Facebook.com/King James. That's Facebook.com/KYNGJAYMES. And to catch any of the archived episodes, you can go to www.blogtalkradio.com/GYIT. That's www.blogtalkradio.com/GYIT. Little family, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Before we get out of here, of course, we want to do that piece that we love so very much, and this is the Ponder the Poetry for this month, and that piece is what? I love you, plain and simple, just as it says. I love you, because this is all about love, not just for some, but for all. And so we are definitely in a place and space where love is the order of the day. Now, whether we want to accept it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we are attuned to it or not, that's really what this is all about. And so we have this piece, this point in the show that we call Ponder the Poetry. And so we do, or we will do, this piece, and this is be the last day of the month for this piece as we run this all this month. We've not done it every show because we missed one show with it, but still, again, without further ado, let's do the do with this piece. And it goes something like this. No, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, did I make a mistake? Yes, I did. Sorry about that, love family. This is the piece that I want to do with this poem. There we go, there we go. Okay, love family. The name of this piece is I Love You. And it goes something like this. It's come to my attention that we don't get enough, it's true. Get enough of what you ask, sharing with sincerity the feelings of I love you. But it's not well received, you know, especially if it's just a catchphrase. I mean, not since the 60s has love been the in thing or all the rage. You see, I love you, and there are no strings attached. Uncompromising, unconditional love that's virtually unmatched. I love you, and there's nothing else that needs to be said. You know, it's the type of love that's universal and is spiritually inbred. I decided to write this poem because of my growing concern with the subject matter. Over the years, we've been taught to discriminate, alienate, and repudiate everything indifferent until it's ripped apart, torn, and tattered. Love knows no limits or boundaries, and this much we all know is true. Critical annihilation of everything meaningful? Well, that's not what we should do. Acceptance, that's the key. Creation is meant for us all. Black, white, red, yellow, green, polka dots, we must learn to love ye one another, lest we all fall. We're all in this thing together, and it's too bad that some just don't want to see. Whether we want to or not, we must respect a person's right to just be. So, I love you. And there are no strings attached. Uncompromising, unconditional love that's virtually unmatched. You see, I love you, and there's nothing else that needs to be said. But it's the kind of love that's universal and is spiritually inbred. If homosexuality is indeed your thing, then by all means, don't hesitate. Go right ahead and do the doggone thing. It makes me no never mind as to what you may like to do. I'm speaking for the type of love that's transcendent and pure, one that boasts from the Most High's view. But don't you dare get it twisted. That don't include intimacy with dudes. I simply see no reason to dislike, disassociate, and unreasonably hate someone because their life choices and decisions have taken them in a different way. We must remember we're spiritual beings first and under the Almighty's ultimate judgment and rule. So to take out our frustrations is a lack of love for oneself that becomes completely evident, very prevalent, and can sometimes be pretty doggone cruel. So I love you, and there are no strings attached. Uncompromising, unconditional love that's virtually unmatched. You see, I love you, and there's nothing else that needs to be said. It's the type of love that's universal and it's spiritually inbred. With all of the ills pervading our society, genuine expressions of love we all need to see, regardless of all the many insecurities that may crop up from the mind's imagery. So let's stop the violence long enough to embrace one another from the heart and expose the inner light of our spirit that's always been there guiding us from the very start. Because bright as the stars that shine and strong as the wind that blows, you'll never know your heart's truest desire till you let your spiritual love grow. So I love you. Really, I do. Oh yeah. Love family, is with great pleasure and an esteemed honor to be bringing you the show that we do here every single week. And we are but we're completely humbled by your presence in sharing this with us, sharing this moment in space and time, to make it your business to get up on Saturday morning. Hopefully this gets your day started and get you going in the right direction. But the bottom line is, as Adama say, we appreciate, love you for it. We have nothing but the utmost of respect for all beings, as you well know, that this is what we do and how we do it. And so it is incumbent upon us here at Get Your It Together to continue to dedicate ourselves and our life to affirming that we are activated seeds of consciousness. We are activated seeds of consciousness. And what happens when the seeds are activated? They grow, they evolve, they germinate, and they, at some point, become what? The harvest, the fruit that bears to be harvested at some point. So we're activated seeds, and we are growing, and we're evolving as we speak. So we've done our affirmations, and I want to encourage you to do affirmations. If you have your own affirmations, do them, but consistently do them. Don't just do them and say, yeah, I did affirmation. Yeah, I prayed before. Yeah, no. Consistently do it, because those words of vibration, they go out into the universe, and they do not return to you void. So create your affirmations, be real specific with what it is you want to say, and put it out in the universe and be consistent with it. So I just want to say, love family, I appreciate, love you, as Adama say, and I thank you. We're going to be looking to have a very special guest on next week. I won't say who it is because I want to be assured that they're going to show. And but be on the lookout for when I will send out the promotional packaging for that upcoming show very shortly, probably Monday or Tuesday. And so so we'll definitely have a very profound interview. I am your host once again, Revelation, a.k.a. a voice of consciousness, if you will. And the name of this show is Get Your It Together, where we promise to continue bringing you more thought-provoking and inspiration-filled programming each and every single week. And so remember, energy flows where attention goes, showering you with light, love, and always at peace.